Hey, y'all, it's Melinda, and welcome to another episode of The Greenhouse. I'm coming to you live from my car tonight, and I'm sitting here basking in the very best kind of tired. My legs have that deep, satisfying soreness. My face is beet red, hot, and I just guzzled a full bottle of cold water. I just finished my second week at Run Club on a Friday night. It's that the good kind that comes from having a whole group of people cheering you on for just putting one foot in front of the other. It reminded me of what it actually feels like when you show up for yourself. You see, a few days ago, I was sitting here in this car. And that ache, well, it wasn't physical that time. It was a heaviness, very tight in my chest, the kind that comes with the fear of putting yourself out there where every part of you wants to stay safe, stay home, and stay well within what you're comfortable with. You know how it is. I always catch myself telling my 20-year-old son, hey, your future wife, your friends, they're not going to come knocking on this door and say, hey, we're here to meet you. We're here to marry you. We're here to live life with you. You've got to put yourself out there into new rooms, new opportunities, and new situations where you have a chance to actually meet someone that you have things in common with, that you'll get along with. Well, it turns out taking your own advice is a whole lot harder than preaching it. Earlier this week, I decided to take a dose of my own medicine, and I signed up to go to a local ladies' bingo night. And I decided to go completely by myself. But in between leaving the house and pulling into downtown, I gave myself every single excuse in the books to bail. I was running late. I was scrambling to get out of the door. I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to wear. You name it. That dialogue in my head was going on and on and on. And then, wouldn't you know it, by the time I finally reached downtown, the venue, the parking lot was a total nightmare. I find myself circling the block after block, going further and further out. My parallel parking anxiety was absolutely kicking into overdrive. I'm still trying to maneuver a vehicle that I'm still getting used to. And with every single loop around the square, I was moving further and further away from the venue into areas of town that I'm just not particularly knowledgeable. Not because there's anything wrong with them. I'd just never been there before. I wasn't familiar. I can't tell you how many times my hand hovered over the gear shift, deeply tempted to just throw it in reverse, bring myself back home into the safety of my couch, my computer, the book I'm reading, anything to get away from the fear of walking into a crowded venue on a busy night where I didn't know a single soul. And that kind of thing, it makes you feel small and insecure. And it really takes some nerves. But what stopped me from doing that, from actually turning around, was I made a commitment to myself before I even left the house. I made a promise to myself that there were a total of 6 rounds of bingo taking place and that I was going to stay through at least the first two. I'd made that contract with myself and I wasn't going to let myself down. 2 rounds of bingo and a mocktail. And if I was still unhappy, still uncomfortable, I could leave. So I found a parking spot quite a bit further away than where I wanted to be, but I parked Noir Velvet and I took a deep breath and I centered myself and I got out of the car. I grabbed my purse. My heart was pounding, not from the several block walk, just from the anxiety and the nerves. And I headed into the venue and I got in line and I ordered a fancy blackberry virgin mocktail. It was amazing. I got my bingo cards and I went and sat at a large table. I was sitting at this large open table, holding out hope that maybe someone else would see the open chairs and ask to join me. This venue has an amazing outdoor space. It was buzzing. It had throngs of people. So many people were already there. Most of them were already grouped up. So that opportunity to have someone join me, well, that never really presented itself. So I sat there alone, this big table through the first two rounds of bingo, sipping on this virgin blackberry margarita all by myself. I kept waiting. I was paying attention. I took several deep breaths. I was starting to enjoy myself. I was determined to win a round of bingo, but I was enjoying the environment. It was a beautiful night. I was watching the people interact with one another. It was a gorgeous summer evening. You see, the venue had these huge industrial fans blowing and twinkling lights. So even though we were outside in the heat and it was a fairly warm evening, it was still inviting and comfortable. The twinkling lights around, and there were women of all ages, young adults, grandmothers, big groups that were still in their work attire, all laughing together, small pairs of people chatting over drinks and food. And there I was along the edge playing my bingo cards alone. But something happened around the middle of that third round. I had stayed, I was continuing to stay. And this really lovely woman, well, she noticed me and she walked right over to this big table and looked at me and said, "Are you here by yourself?" And I, of course, smiled a little sheepishly and said, "Yeah, I'm here by myself tonight." And she immediately shook her head and said, "Oh, no, no, honey. Don't sit here by yourself. Come on over and sit with us." And she started to pick up my drink and took me right over to where she and her group were. And she pulled me right in. She introduced me. Most of the people she was sitting with, she had just met them earlier this very night. But these ladies, these women, they opened their circle to me. They were all so welcoming. They put a spot right up for me. And wouldn't you know it, during the very first round sitting with them, I actually won a bag of creme brulee covered nuts. We all had a good laugh at this. But suddenly, the tension that had been knotting up my shoulders, the back of my neck, it completely melted away. And I started to settle into my own skin. And reflecting on that night and then thinking about my run club session earlier this evening, I realized something. Well, the first thing I realized is I am not a runner, not by any stretch of the imagination. But even at run club, everyone else was taking off, going at their own pace, high energy, some fast, some slow. But I was comfortable and confident going at my own pace. And I found this wildly eclectic, completely uncompetitive community ready to welcome me in at both places. No one at either place had required me to be anything more than who I was. They wanted Melinda. Nobody asked me for a resume or an explanation or any fancy, shined up, polished version of me. Instead, they accepted me just as I was simply because I'd had the courage to show up as Melinda with awkward parking and a nervous walking pace. And it turned out to be the best gift I could give themselves and me. Honestly, it was the best gift I could give myself because I showed up And that sweet lady from bingo, well, she and I are taking a Pilates class together next week. So my world just got a little bit bigger and my heart got, well, a whole lot fuller. So, whatever that thing is for you right now, that class you want to take, that club you want to join, that room that you're terrified to walk into, this is your sign to get out of your own way. Try it. Make a small promise to yourself and tell yourself you'll stay for just 2 rounds. You'll stay for just 20 minutes because I can almost promise you that once you take that step, you're going to want to stay longer. You're going to want to engage. You're going to be welcomed in. For you on the other side, I hope that you have a wonderful week and that you show up for yourself in ways that stretch you, that grow you, that introduce you to people who are better for knowing you. And until next time, I'll be right here waiting for you inside the greenhouse. But hey, speaking of rooms that are waiting for you, applications for Blooming Season, an 8-week transformational program where we'll identify what's happening in your life now, are currently open, but they close soon on August 26th. If you're circling the idea of joining a small group of women, for women, doing this real life, real tending work together, this is your nudge to stop circling and park the car. Applications are live on the website at maintaining melinda.com/blooming. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.